Hello and welcome to Network. My name is Spumelele Zondi with your technology and social media news. We hope you still are staying at home and keeping it safe where you are and not attending one of the many overcrowded parties that we should not be attending. It's SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. News Network at sabc.co.za on email. This week, our Twitter poll is asking you if you think university students will ever receive their promised laptops. Results of that are coming up later in the program. Firstly, here's what's coming up tonight. We find out about a new app that aims to help small businesses. And in our discussion, we chat to Brian Habana, Head of Business Development at Pay Me Now, a new technology that aims to help employers pay employees a bit earlier should they request, so they don't go to loan sharks. Often women have challenges that men don't really face when it comes to the technology sector. And the Yabasadi initiative is aiming to solve some of those issues for female tech entrepreneurs.
Yabasadi, a Setswana term that means for women or owned by women. This is also the name of an ICT program started by the Tshimologong Precinct Tech Hub and JP Morgan that aims to prepare female entrepreneurs for this fourth industrial revolution.
Yabasadi is an exciting initiative by JP Morgan as well as Tshimologong to assist in bringing women closer to the 4IR discourse. And how we plan to do this is by upskilling them in the understanding and application of 4IR technology, as well as ensuring that they have sound business models to support technology that they would apply into their own businesses.
In this program, participants are promised to leave with diverse technology skills such as coding and robotics.
The program itself is divided into three. The first part being tech skills development. The second part being industry immersion, so them interacting with industry so that they can understand the gaps and the problems that the market is looking for. And thirdly, actual development so that they leave the program with an MVP at least. Now, the tech that they will be exposed to, we're looking at digital fabrication, Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, robotics, app and web development. And all of these have been selected as a response to what the needs of this particular cohort are. We're very cautious of not creating a program and then expecting people to just plug in.
Though the numbers have grown over the years, women participation in the ICT sector remains low.
I've been on, different platforms, different programs, sometimes programs that you just attend on a day, for a day or for a week. And a lot of the times, the women will give us training on everything else except tech. When it comes to tech, then a man steps in. So I'm not seeing that many women. I know there are women out there that are in tech. I've met one that I worked closely with, but I've worked with a lot of people in tech, and I can only remember one woman that I worked with. So I do think that we need more women in this field.
To ensure that they take up space in this male-dominated tech industry, these female entrepreneurs decided to be a part of this program despite the fact that they do not come from an ICT background.
I think the biggest thing, especially with this program with JP Morgan, is that this technology would not be within my reach under normal circumstances. I would not be able to invest in this technology for my business to grow in that manner. So, that's why it becomes so amazing. Number two is that I'm the one that's getting skilled. So it's not necessarily outsourcing or getting another company that does it. It's us, it's me. My company will grow and will actually be skilled to provide these services, in tech. As you know, when you educate a woman, you educate the whole community.
Though a long journey until women are seen as equals in industries across the board, initiatives such as Yabasadi take us a step closer as we forge ahead with resilience and our heads held high.
Amandla, to many.
We hope the Yabasadi initiative is able to solve some of those problems that women are facing in the tech entrepreneurship space. Now there's a new app that's aiming to link small businesses to their customers. We do know that a lot of small businesses took quite a knock during the lockdown process in South Africa, and some of them have not been online to reach their customers who are still afraid to leave home. This is Clement near Pinetown in KwaZulu-Natal. Here, Chris Peely owns a couple of buildings which he rents out to a number of businesses in the area. He says COVID-19 and the lockdown which happened as a result of it caught businesses in the area off guard. They were not online when home deliveries were allowed.
Our businesses doesn't have the platform like that. It's who you know and who you can call, and it doesn't work. It cannot sustain any business. Current businesses that we have, they don't have those kind of apps. They don't have those the modern technology that can assist them to reach to their clients. So even if now we are on level 2, it's still a huge challenge.
In Chesterville, outside Durban, Mashamplane Shisanyama had to mostly focus on food when they reopened. They too have never been online until now.
Those are the things that were far away from us, especially we are running our businesses in townships. So we did not believe to be in that kind of a business, to do your business online.
Not being online has meant these township-based businesses lose out on a clientele that's been staying at home as requested. Andile Kamajola says his standby app is targeting small businesses with no online presence.
Standby is about putting your business on the map. Standby is about encouraging your business to do well. And Standby is about making sure that you grow from strength to strength, leaps and bounds. Platforms like Standby will expose you to people that wouldn't have known about you. Some people, I want to say this, the psychology behind Standby is your client may be passing your yard every day, not knowing you've got an answer to what he goes there and there to look for.
Normally you'll have an app for the customer and an app for the vendor. For us to limit that, because now if I'm selling shoes, maybe I need a specific type of material, I don't need to go and download another app. I just simply switch users. In the same app, before you even log in, it asks you, would you like to log in as a customer or a vendor?
Those that have joined the app believe it will assist in getting back some of the losses made during the COVID-19 hard lockdown.
Even if they don't come here, but they order online, then I said to myself, at least it will end up my business having more customers than before.
An application like Standby application, is going to bring about change in the field of business, and it is going to assist quite a number of people to reach so many people at once.
On the app, you can find all kinds of goods and services like tailors, food, barbers, and even authors. So in order for us to keep safe, let's get on those devices and use some of those technologies that aim to make things easier for us. Let's go to the rural areas now, where people are now picking up digital devices as chiefs want to meet with each other. They received new devices from the government recently.
So today was a good day. It was a good day for the traditional leaders. It was a good day for rural schools. Today we're handing over 2,000 smart devices. We basically holding the view that traditional leaders and rural schools are falling behind. The minister talked about emerging digital outcasts. We believe in inclusivity at MTN. We have a core belief that everybody deserves the benefits of a modern connected life. So through the ministry, through the minister, we're saying we're donating smart devices, data, SIM cards, worth more than 5 million rands to ensure that we can play our part and these people, these important communities are really not left behind.
Today is a great day for us. as the department and of course the ANC government, because it's a step towards that we've been talking about, as we mentioned earlier, bridging the digital divide or the inclusion, but most importantly by the partnership that we have with the royal authorities to say how do we make sure that them as custodians of culture, they're not left behind in the fourth industrial revolution. And it begins with them having access to the digital technologies that they must be able to communicate in electronic platforms. And this is the first step towards that. That's why we said we can't just watch MTN gives them the starter packs and then the devices and then we don't provide content, which is why as the department we committed that we're going to work with them in terms of providing digital skills so that they can be able to participate meaningfully in the digital revolution.
It's a partnership that will make our work much easier. I think a lot of people are aware of how people struggle in rural communities when it comes to information technology and also be able to link with the outside world. So we've been having serious problems in terms of having virtual meetings. There are meetings that are mandatory according to law, but we have not been forming quorums because our members have not been having tools of trade to be able to engage. We know that there's a new normal now. We can't have physical meetings. I think this will assist us as a sector, but we are also excited that this did not only benefit us as traditional leaders, because when we engaged MTN, we did not think that the discussions will become so big where they even donate 2,000 laptops and tablets to rural schools.
With this technology, they will then be able to access as much information and not wait for a newspaper that arrives there and then, but then sitting home because we can't be all moving on the streets. We all have to be safe, including themselves being safe. They can just access information using the gadgets. And I'm glad that the gadget came with a SIM card. It also came with a loaded data, so that then for a month they'll be able to, so but thereafter they will then load on their own.
It's SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, News Network at sabc.co.za on email. After the break, we chat to Brian Habana from Pay Me Now about their new technology that helps employers pay employees early should the request come. It is the SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Welcome back. Now, a lot of South Africans often struggle to make it to the end of the month with their salaries. They say a lot of South Africans live beyond their means. Now, the folks at Pay Me Now have brought this technology to South Africa. It enables employers to pay their employees earlier than they normally would should the request come, and this is so people don't go to loan shocks before the end of the month. Now, joining me is Brian Habana, who is the head of business development at Pay Me Now. Hello, and thank you very much for being a part of our network, Brian. Maybe if you can start by telling us how Pay Me Now actually works.
Pay Me Now is an offering that has taken a successful developed markets trend, which gives employees early access to a percentage of their already earned wages, and we've evolved this to suit the needs of the undeserved in emerging markets by incentivizing financial literacy.
Let's go into the nitty-gritties of the technology now. Is it also secure?
Yeah, the tech driving Pay Me Now is a proprietary built integrated architecture running on the Microsoft Azure cloud infrastructure. The backend integrates securely with the employer's payroll system, and employees are able to access the service either via a web or a native app. We also integrate with the National Payments System or the NPS of South Africa to ensure that automated advance payments can happen.
Brian, as I introduced this discussion, I mentioned that women often run households and they're the ones who would struggle the most and run out of money before the end of the month because they need to stretch their salaries a bit more. So how can the technology help in that?
South Africans, live beyond their means. Our debt-to-income ratio is at a staggering 75%. 65% of debt in the 25 to 39-year-old demographic falls in the unsecured lending and payday loan space. The low financial literacy rate and the inaccessibility to quality credit has also allowed for unscrupulous lenders and loan sharks to make perverse revenue on low-income earners and often ending up in an inescapable death spirals. The debt scourge that affects the women who try so hard to make ends meet, put food on the table, clothe and educate their families. It's not something that's discussed, or even considered at times. It's not an item that is likely to potentially make headlines the same way that gender-based violence is, but it is real and it's incredibly harmful. And we at Pay Me Now feel that women in particular can benefit from being freed from loan sharks, microlending, and be educated and enabled to take control of their finances and hopefully in so doing take control of their lives.
From the work you've already started doing, Brian, are you finding that businesses are interested in paying employees earlier should the request come?
With Pay Me Now and a few other competitors having entered the South African market over the past year or so, and the need for all of us to educate the market, there now has definitely been an increasing amount of businesses that have shown interest in this type of offering and the one to provide this form of financial wellness benefit to their employees and staff. And we've been extremely fortunate to have onboarded 10 employers since officially launching in January, and we have a very exciting sales pipeline on the go.
How easily can this be implemented?
The ease of use of tech and the ability that it has to enable us to address educational inequalities rapidly and cost effectively without having many barriers to entry, but as well as the ability to be rolled out on a large scale fairly seamlessly and quickly. It makes tech a pivotal tool in trying to solve some of the massive inequalities and other financial challenges facing people not only in South Africa but in many emerging market economies.
All right, so Brian Habana, Head of Business Development at Pay Me Now, thank you very much for being a part of our network.
Thank you very much.
It is SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. News Network at sabc.co.za on email. Welcome back. Here's what else took place in the rest of the world in the technology space.
The high-tech centers of the U.S. Silicon Valley and China's Shenzhen Special Economic Zone have been working closely to develop innovative products. Headphone manufacturer Neura broke new ground by using sensitive microphones to measure how a user hears and personally shapes the music for the most detailed sound.
Because there is massive amount of expertise in one area in Silicon Valley and also massive amount of expertise in another area in Shenzhen, it makes sense for the two areas to collaborate and get the best of both worlds.
Both Neura and MakeBlock began with a combination of crowdfunding and venture capital investment that was born out of Silicon Valley. However, they are now examples of businesses that have grown into successful global operations, with Shenzhen serving as the heart of its innovation base. And now in Japan. Tokyo now offers a new way to experience nature's call in the form of transparent high-tech public toilets. The stalls are colorful, spacious, and available at a public park, but the only catch is their walls remain transparent until toilet goers literally lock the door.
多目的トイレを使うことが普段多いんですけど、透明だったら中に誰も不審者がいないっていうのが分かるので、子供だけでも行っておいでっていう感じで外から見守れるっていうところはちょっとそうですね、ありがたいかなとは思いますね。
As part of the project, a total of 17 public toilets will be redesigned by renowned architects and designers, including Pritzker Prize-winning Tadao Ando and Kengo Kuma. A remotely controlled ship has completed a remarkable 22 days at sea surveying the seabed of the mid-Atlantic ridge with no crew on board. The 12-meter-long USV, otherwise known as Uncrewed Surface Vessel Max Limmer, left Plymouth on the south coast of England, controlled around the clock by satellite communications from its developer's remote operations centre east of London.
The uncrewed vessel, as you can see behind me, is operating in Plymouth Sound, yet it's being controlled in an ops room based in Essex, so the other side of the United Kingdom. Absolutely amazing.
The plan originally involved the vessel completing a transatlantic crossing, but travel restrictions and other planning complications resulting from COVID-19 forced a change.
Now, there have been allegations that there are people who are trying to meddle in the procurement process of university students' laptops that have been promised by Higher Education Minister Blade Nzimande. This week on our Twitter poll, we are asking you if you think university students will ever receive these promised devices. Now, 7% of you say yes, they will receive these promised devices. That number is in the minority. So the majority of respondents have no faith that students will receive these promised devices. The vast majority at 81% say no, they will not receive these promised devices. And at 12% are people who say they actually do not know if this will ever happen. And that's it. That's all we have for you. Find us on SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. It is News Network at sabc.co.za on email. For me, Spumelele Zondi and the rest of the network team, don't attend overcrowded parties. Stay home and stay safe. Have a good one. Good night.